guys, it's LaRosa. Listen, we got lunch loaded in here. We've got groceries loaded in here for the ranch. And it's a great day. It's a beautiful day for a flight down to the ranch to see what's going on there, check the fences, windmills, things like that. Check all the gates. And come on. So using the airplane is a really good way to really just get a broad overview of what's going on down here. I'm able to, from up here, I can see, it's very easy to see if someone has driven on the property. It actually destroys a lot of the brush, and you can see it's fresh tracks if someone's come in. And that's important because people try to come in and hunt. It's illegal to hunt mule deer on our property. And we just finished the mule deer season, so we're looking for that. This is the windmill that I really need to check right here. It's been down for a few months. My cousin got it fixed, and it is pumping water. Alrighty, runway's clear. Too fast. I gotta slow down. Way too fast. It's a trim monster. We'll get full flaps on to get her slowed down. Oh, now I'm thinking I'm gonna hit the wire fence. Alright, we're clear of the fence. Okay, so we're around to the gate before we go through. Took this out, so I don't know if I said anything on any of the videos. A couple weeks ago or a month ago, almost started a fire down here with this Jeep. Catalytic converter, got a lot of weeds under it. The whole Jeep caught on fire. I don't know how I got out of here without catching everything on fire. But I had to haul the Jeep into town to get it fixed. And yes, to answer your question, by the way, I took the catalytic converter off of this thing, put a test pipe in it so it won't start a fire and burn everything down. Don't touch that keyboard. Keyboard Karen, don't get me going. No, it's gone, too bad. And so these kinds of things don't stay in a Jeep when you take it into a city like Lubbock. This was a 220 Swift, Ruger 220 Swift, given to me by my dad when I was in about 7th or 8th grade. Of course, the very first thing you're doing is making sure that it's unloaded, because all firearms are loaded. In case you don't know, there's been a lot about that in the media lately. You can shoot somebody with one of these when you treat it like it is not loaded. So consequently, we treat them like they're all loaded. And incidentally, on a ranch, let me tell you, they're loaded, okay? So, and the unloaded ones are loaded. I can't tell you how many times I've done this my entire life, that I've picked up a rifle that I knew was unloaded, and guess what? It wasn't unloaded. So that's why we checked them. And, you know, for some of you city dwellers, you may be asking me, well, why out here do you carry this, and why is it loaded? Well, some of that is because I've done it my entire life, and I just feel comfortable with it in the Jeep with me. And for coyotes, there are some cats out here now, big cats, because we have so many mule deer. Coyotes, you're not going to have time to load it. I am just barely going to have enough time to get this, because I keep it up there to untie it, get it down, and you can see there's a lot of cover out here. They're really smart animals, and they know exactly how to hide from you. So I don't have much time usually to get them. It's been a long time since I've actually hit one, because they're quick. They know exactly how far a 30-30 will go. They're smart. They know exactly how far a 2-2-3 will go. This will go along further than they think it will. So that's why I use a Swift, because it'll reach out there at about 5,000 feet per second. Last but not least that I took out is my snake gun, Texas Defender 410. It's lethal. Probably not gonna need that today, although you could. I mean, it is December, but you could need it. So every time I've ever needed it, I didn't put it in the truck. So this stays in the Jeep now. Four-wheel drive it is. All right. A little history of this area and how my family got this land. Compared to the rest of the nation, the high plains of Texas is relatively young. New York or Boston or into New Orleans, and look at the age of the buildings, and it's incredible how old they are. Well, when those buildings were being built, the Comanche still ruled this area. And consequently, this area wasn't settled until about, really started settling about 1910. And my granddad started acquiring land here in the 1920s. And during that time, large ranches owned all of this, except they thought this land was worthless. So they didn't want it. And those ranches exchanged things with the Texas government to build the capital, like granite. They had places with granite, so the granite for the capital of Texas was built out of those places, and they got granted this land up here, but this land was deemed worthless. It's an ancient riverbed, it's pure sand. That's why I have these wide tires on this Jeep. There's a lot of vegetation that you can see, but it's that quick you can get stuck out here. And I don't know how my granddad knew that. Well, he did it because he was a cattleman. He was a young kid out here. He worked on these ranches. He was a windmill foreman. He was a chuck wagon driver. He was everything, cowboy. He did everything on these ranches, which meant that he knew what these cattle wanted to eat down here, and he had an eye for it. And he started buying this property up when no one wanted it, and directly from the federal government. And the rest is history. This windmill we're checking down here has been here, I don't know, my entire life, and I'm probably put in the 20s or 30s. So we had a problem with the windmill. There's a down in the bottom of these wells, there's a few city dwellers again. There's a kind of a cage, you know, about this big around, it's this tall. Sits down in there, and it's round, and it's got round, we call them leathers, and they're round leather seals for the pipe to go up and down on what's called a sucker rod, and I'll show you what those are in just a second. And those seals wear out, and it's another one of the, so we got water, so my cousin got it fixed. It's another one of those lost trades. You can't find anybody to do this, and we hate it. We did it when we were kids. And what it consists of is, so this is a sucker rod. Well, as the wind turns the windmill up top, this rod goes up and down and pumps the water at the top. So to change those leathers, you have to go all the way, you have to pull every one of those out. And this one's probably about 200 feet deep, maybe a little more now. When I was a kid, we could pull this one by hand, but no longer. I'm sure my cousin Stephen, has to put a blocking tackle up there to pull that out now. And the big thing that you never want to do is accidentally drop one of those sucker rods. And we always did this, my brother and I, with my dad screaming at us, cussing at us about not dropping that sucker rod, as I'm sure Stephen's dad was too, because it's a horrible experience when you drop that down, and it's really difficult to get it out. They accidentally dropped that one a month or so of this one, and thank goodness it didn't put a hole in the case. And Stephen has a tool, and he was able to get it out of there like on the second hit, so he got really lucky. But looks like it's all running good now. This tank will fill up and overflow into that one and fill that up as a lake. So we've got this one that is the old-timey windmill, driven by the wind. They pump water great. They make electricity horribly. Don't get me going. And then we have a solar one that's on a solar panel a couple miles from here. And it works great, but I just soon have one that's old school, because like now, I mean, if the chip that runs that thing goes out, can we get it from China? Who knows? Well, this will run. And people in the United States have leathers for these old windmills. All right, guys, that's your Ranch 101 windmill education there. Looks like it's going good. We'll head back to the house, get in the airplane, and back to Lubbock, whatever, run over. Giant chunk of concrete, I believe. Maybe next week we'll talk about the fences. Hey guys, fly safe, have fun. Viva LaRosa.